Hi guys, I'm Dave Yandel, co-owner of Harbor Park CrossFit and coach here. Welcome back to video 2 of our 12-part video series. This is day 2 of our OnRamp program. I'm going to be demonstrating some of the movements you'll learn in our day number 2 OnRamp program at Harbor Park. As you see, I have a rower behind me, and that's one of the things that we talked about here on day number 2. So I'm going to get strapped in and we'll talk about it. So the first part you want to make sure is you're fully strapped in, that these straps go over the mid of the feet, just below the toes, and you're pretty much anchored in, because you're going to be using your feet to drive. The feet pedals are adjustable, and the coach will go over that, making sure that how to adjust properly for you. There are 2 ways that we row. Generally, those 2 ways are for calories and for meters. I will demonstrate and talk about the performances of each. And the first part we're going to talk about is for calories. When we drive, we want to think about driving through these legs, pushing through the heels as we come back, and then we're going to use the arms. You're going to notice that the pulls in the calories is we're trying to gain as much energy as we can through the rower. And on the computer screen, we're going to be looking for, generally, a good goal to have is 1 calorie per pull. So as I grab the handle, the computer will start up for itself. I want to have a damper on a higher setting. For me, I put it at 10. As I drive through the heels, I'm going to extend back. So I'm going to slow this down. We're going to press through the heels back. Once my legs are fully extended, I'm going to then pull with the arms in the back, all the way back in this extended position. To go back, I'm going to release the arms, come forward. Once the arms are here, I'm going to come through with the knees. Again, press through the knees first, all the way back, then through, then back, then bend the knees. Let's speed it up now. So big drives through the legs and a big pull. And that's rowing for calories. You notice I kept my back flat. You do not want to round. You do not want to be like this. Nice flat back and strong back as we pull through here. Now rowing for meters. It's a little bit more fluid. The pull and the push are the same. The knees extend first, then the arms. It's just going to be a little bit more fluid. This is more of a pace movement. We're pacing it out. Still driving with the legs to the heels. Just a little bit more fluid motion. As I come out, we just lift up the feet and press out of it. Alright, moving on our video number 2, we're going to be talking about the strict press. That's why I have a little PVC pipe in my hand. The PVC pipe is going to demonstrate or mimic the bar that I would be pressing with overhead. We use PVC in warm-ups or in OnRamp. Generally, it makes it less invasive. This is very less intimidating. It's easy to handle. In the strict press, it's a movement that we're going to start from the front rack position. You're going to hear that quite a lot moving forward. So remember that front rack position. The front rack position is where the bar rests across the shoulders. I want it to be in contact with the deltoids and then across the front of the throat, kind of on the shoulders here. The bar is going to be high. We don't want it to be sitting down like this. If this bar were 100 pounds, I'm literally holding this with all my arms. We brace it across the shoulders in this front rack position to help brace it. It holds it. The shoulders are strong. We're barely using any arm movements. So proper front rack position is hands just outside the shoulders. We want to have a full grip on this bar, but if range of motion is an issue, sometimes just kind of pressing out and holding it with the fingers is fine. But realize that the full range of motion is what we're looking for, is the full grip on that bar because eventually we're going to be pressing this overhead. I'm going to turn slightly so you can see what I'm talking about. When we have the front rack position, we want those elbows to be slightly forward, not behind our back. If I keep them behind my back and I go to press, I'm going to go outwards. We want the bar to go straight up in a straight line. We're stronger in towards our center portion of the body. When the bar gets too far out, it's going to be much heavier. From that front rack position, we want to think about, again, nice flat back, protect the spine. We do not want to see this, any arcing. That would be a lot of pressure on the spine. We don't want to see that. So it's very important to engage our core here. Our core is going to keep protection of the spine and keep us down and tight. You notice I'm not arcing in the spine, staying nice and tight in the stomach. From that front rack position, we're going to tuck the chin. We're going to press that bar. It's going to basically shave right past our nose. It's going to go up overhead, and when I lock out overhead, my head's going to come back through. We call this peeking through the window. We want to bring the head back to neutral. And if you notice where the bar is locked up overhead towards the back plane of the body. If I had a ponytail, the bar would come down and cut that ponytail off. That's what I want to think about. This puts the shoulders in a nice stable position. If I'm out front, if this bar is 100 pounds again, that's where it's going to be carrying me. It's very hard to hold the bar that way. So we want to think about getting the shoulders nice and stable. I can squeeze the shoulder blades together at this point, suck the shoulders into the socket, and this is where we're most stable in the shoulders. To come back down, we're going to tuck that chin again, and the bar is going to come back straight down, shave past the nose, and here. Those are all demonstrated in a slower variation for you. When we're pressing overhead, we want to think of it as a kind of a punch out, and then comes back down, okay? So nice and tight, not arcing the spine, tuck the chin, punch out, head comes back to normal, lock out at the top, elbows are not bent, tuck the chin and come back down. That is called the strict press. We're going to build off the strict press later on, but this is just a good foundation of a pressing and going overhead in the shoulders. All right, moving on in day number 2 is the push-up position. The push-up can be pretty intimidating or difficult for some people. I'm going to teach you a couple variations and quickly how to get down into the push-up. But it's very important when we do the push-up that we have nice stable shoulders, nice tight core. One of the things that we try to avoid is elbows out in the push-up. We kind of see the flare out at the bottom when people are pushing. This is not a very stable position for the shoulders. It puts a lot of pressure on the pecs, the front of the shoulders, and it's not, like I said, not a stable position for the shoulders. To keep the shoulders nice and stable, we want to think about screwing those hands into the ground, keeping those elbows in nice and tight. That allows you to stay very tight in the shoulders, puts the shoulders in a stable position, and as you push down, those elbows we want to keep in towards your side. We want to also put the hands directly underneath the shoulders. We do not want to be out like this. This is not a good stable position for the shoulders. Hands are going to be directly underneath you, so straight up and down, underneath your shoulders when we set up. You'll notice I have a nice tight core, back is flat, and as we go down, elbows are going to stay nice and tight in, chest and hips touch the floor, and then straight up. I'm screwing my hands into the ground to help keep those elbows in tight and pressing off. That's a push-up. One of the difficult things that some people have is getting down. I will typically see this. One of the things that makes push-ups a little bit difficult is that descent. The easiest way to overcome that is just literally go to the ground. Almost plop to the floor and then push off. It makes push-ups much easier to control. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about the ring row. The rings are a piece of equipment that we use quite a lot here. Ring rows are very important in developing the strength in the back. We can do many different things with them. In the ring row, it's pretty much just a lean back. Nice tight core. You're going to notice I'm not sagging. We want to keep it nice and tight. And when I pull up, I'm going to think about pulling with my back muscles. Elbows stay nice and tight, not flaring out. Nice and tight, and back down. Again, I'm engaging my core so I don't fall at the bottom, and I don't arc at the top. Nice and flat. Pulling towards the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, then release. The further down you go in the ring row, it depends on how, it makes it more difficult. So you notice I was pretty much almost proned out. We can keep it tall from here, makes it a little less difficult. Or if that's too easy, you can come all the way down and pull this way. And that concludes day number 2 of OnRamp. As you will see, most of these movements are pretty simple or difficult. Whether you're used to these movements or not will be dependent on your own abilities. Every coach can scale these movements appropriately for your individual needs. Again, we'll see you on day number 3.